Good morning. It's been 6 months since I last spoke to the Delegate Assembly. I was very new to the position, but certainly not naive about the challenges our association faces. And before I continue, I'd just like to do something that I did last night at the Board of Directors meeting. One of the things that has impressed me so much, more than you may know, is the staff that I work with day in and day out. So I would ask each staff member of the association that's here right now to please stand. Thank you. Our association has made a commitment to transform itself from a good organization to a great one. Completing that transformation is my commitment to you. As an educational leader and now as your executive director, I use the book Good to Great, Why Some Companies Make the Leap and Others Don't. And as you know, this work is by Jim Collins. The book describes characteristics of 11 companies that attain and sustain peak performance. These qualities reflect the right combination of attitude, practice, and values. Many of its underlying principles are reflected in recent advancements at NJSBA. A successful association, that is, a great organization, strives not only to be interesting, but also to be interested. Strives not only to be interesting, but also to be interested. I've made a personal commitment that no member of this association will ever feel that NJSBA is not listening. It doesn't mean automatic agreement, but it means that we will listen. You will never feel that we are not interested in what you have to say. Hearing your concerns is a vital component of our work. We have instituted strategies to build two-way communication with you and with your colleagues around the state. The County School Boards Associations are logical places to take the pulse of our membership. During my first year of service with NJSBA, I planned, and I said this to you 6 months ago, to visit all 21 county associations. And I refer to this as my listening tour. So far, I have visited 14 of the county associations. In December, NJSBA completed a membership needs assessment. It provided members viewpoints on training, direct assistance, information services, and other issues that are concerning you. Finally, I've instituted my weekly message to the membership, my reflections column. An important benefit of the column is the email responses that I receive from readers. The feedback provides a window to your concerns and it lets us know if we're on the right track or not. Significant changes for your schools and for the schools of this state are emanating, as we speak, from Trenton and Washington, D.C. Let me give you 3 quick examples. The new educator evaluation system, the Common Core state standards, and the new testing program that will measure student progress towards those standards. Individually, each of these initiatives would be a game changer. Together, they will move the earth beneath our feet. A burning question is this: what role will school boards have in their implementation? In my many years as a school district superintendent and county soup, I have found a direct correlation between a well-functioning school board and academic success. Research confirms this fact. Unfortunately, for more than a decade, we have seen a steady, purposeful erosion of local authority. This must stop. It's a concern that I've heard repeatedly during my listening tour of the state county associations, And I pledge to you that NJSBA will be vigilant in safeguarding local education authority. To be effective in the political arena, we need a bigger seat at the table, and many of you have heard me say that, and I say it again. In the past 6 months, we have taken concrete steps to increase our presence with state leaders. We are building a solid foundation, and state leaders are beginning to turn to us for our thoughts, our guidance, and our ideas. In the last 6 months, I've attended a number of meetings hosted by the governor at Drumthwacket. This past week, I met with the governor's chief counsel and his deputy chief counsel. We have also met with chairs of the Senate and Assembly Education Committee, as well as other legislative leaders. We have an active and open dialogue with senior staff at the Department of Education. Let me share with you a positive example of how things are going in this area. Earlier this year, the State Board considered a regulation that would have given district superintendents who work for the board the unilateral authority to call a school board meeting. This unnecessary change would have further eroded the authority that the community vests in its board. But thanks to the lines of communication we are building, we successfully argued against the proposal. And I'm so happy that John invited Joe Fisicaro here, because I want to say that Joe publicly expressed his concern about the proposal and has overall been so very supportive of school boards. Thank you, Joe. To succeed in the political arena, you need the right amount of human capital. One of my first staffing decisions was to expand our governmental relations staff. Our mission and our strategic plan also demand it. So we've created an additional legislative advocate position. Today, we have 5 staff members who represent the interests of your board and your students before the governor, the legislature, and the state board. I am an unwavering believer in parent power and how it can advance children's academic performance and the mission of the public schools. When I became NJSBA Executive Director last fall, I established parental involvement as a major goal. Parents are the ultimate advocates for their children's education. School boards and parents form a natural alliance. To strengthen this vital link, NJSBA is assisting local board members and other grassroots advocacy efforts that include parents. Late last fall, we began monthly meetings with the president and the executive board of the New Jersey State PTA. And as I mentioned last night, they just have 100,000 members. Our focus has been on cooperative efforts to advance our mutual goals, especially the promotion of student achievement. One such cooperative venture will take place on Thursday, June the 6th, when we co-sponsor a legislative day in Trenton with the PTA. The event will include a panel discussion featuring several legislators. It will be moderated by John Mooney of New Jersey Spotlight. No other organization can provide information on school law, labor relations, policy and governance, and many other areas than the New Jersey School Boards Association. But where do school board members turn when they have questions about curriculum and instruction? In addition to turning to their superintendent and/or director of curriculum, they were unable to turn to their association. That has changed. If you have a question now about education, about curriculum, and about program, you can call our association. In April, Vince DeLucia was appointed as our educator in residence. Vince has more than 30 years of experience in teaching, curriculum development, and administration, and he's also a nationally board certified teacher. When he received that national designation, he was one of 79 teachers in the United States to achieve such a level. New Jersey's local school board members should be the best trained public officials in the nation. Practically speaking, that's because state law requires extensive training. Philosophically, and most important, our students really deserve nothing less. Council representatives, freeholders, and even state legislators, people who passed the mandatory training requirements, do not have a similar requirement for themselves. The legislature assigned NJSBA the responsibility of delivering the mandated training, and we take that responsibility very seriously. Last month, I gave Vince DeLucia, our educator in residence, the critical assignment of reviewing the content of all 4 mandatory training programs. That's Governance 1 through 4. NJSBA's training must be relevant. March 8th through the 10th represented a milestone for our association. That's when NJSBA reinstituted the weekend new board member orientation, and that was after a 5-year hiatus. The weekend program gave 105 participants the opportunity to work in small groups and also the chance to work with experts in school governance, meaning veteran school board members and, of course, staff of our association. Our most experienced and most accomplished school board members have told us, and I remember as a local superintendent from my board members, that nothing was like that weekend experience. And from the feedback we've received from the 105 people that attended the weekend that I just talked about, it is affirmed. My goal next year, and I'm not sure I'll succeed because it will cost $100,000. This year we were able to get $50,000 grant from ELF New Jersey, Educational Leadership Foundation, which, as you know, is an affiliate of NJSBA. But next year I'm hoping to do, if we can do 2 weekends, again, that would be about $100,000 in grant money, but we have already begun the search. In January, NJSBA formed a task force to review our state's current process for funding and providing special education. As you know, New Jersey spends the most amount of money on special ed anywhere else in the nation. The study group includes local school board members with a commitment to special ed and the effective use of resources. Other stakeholders on this task force are superintendents, school business administrators, and as a matter of fact, Commissioner Cerf has asked if 2 of his staff members can join us, which they have. The goal here is to reduce special education costs without diminishing the quality of needed services. In addition, the task force will identify best practices. We will roll out the task force report and recommendations in the fall through forums that we've are already started to plan in northern, central, and southern New Jersey. For me, the action of our association following Superstorm Sandy will always be a source of pride. Within days of the storm's landfall, NJSBA staff contacted each and every school board in the state, and we contacted them with a message of concern and an offer of help. In fact, as John mentioned earlier, and I don't think he quite said it this way, but he and I were actually in communications during the storm. And we really got things rolling immediately after we were able to reopen. Another one of my early duties in the association was to close it for a week. And as you know, we built a relief program to match up donors with school districts in need of equipment, and we actually positively affected hundreds and hundreds of schools in New Jersey, and I feel proud about that. The staff was incredible, and your feedback was also inspiring. Today, our association is offering a reduction in the 2013-2014 dues to those districts that suffered severe damage. Interested districts actually have until June the 3rd to apply for the Sandy Dues Reduction Program. In December, immediately following the tragedy in Newtown, Connecticut, I called an emergency meeting of our executive staff to identify ways to help our members address the questions that they and the people in their communities have about school safety. On January 18th, we had a school safety forum at the College of New Jersey. I know a number of you were there. We attracted 650 people. And Frank Belluccio, Frank, where are you? Right there. Frank tells me with his 34 years experience in the association that that event was the largest one held outside of workshop. For those of you that attended, it featured experts in school climate, law enforcement, and crisis planning. We expanded the effort through a series of regional forums, many sponsored by the county school boards associations. Inadequate response to the school security issue also requires research. In March, President Bellina appointed a school security task force that will review the implementation and funding of school security measures, and they will also identify best practices. The task force is expected to complete its work by early fall. We are successfully moving the association's agenda in large part due to fiscal prudence and sound planning. For the third consecutive year, as Don mentioned before, our budget does not call for a dues increase. At the same time, the budget will maintain the services needed by boards of education, and also it'll be linked, of course, to our strategic plan. While dues will remain flat, the 2013-2014 budget will expand non-dues, non-tax revenue through our business affiliate program and other entrepreneurial efforts. We are working hard to take the reliance off of dues and to generate other income. I have been pleased to report that your association has been on the move during the last 6 months. On the horizon are several important developments. We are placing a central focus on the County School Boards Association, as I referenced earlier. They play such a critical role in the future of our organization and in the future of school board governance. As some of you may have heard me say at county meetings, I correlate the health of what goes on at the county meetings to the health of this organization. And so this year, as was mentioned earlier, we are planning to reinvigorate county meetings, and that's already happening. That progress will continue. I believe we can return to the days when meeting attendance of 100 or more was the norm. We can accomplish this through interesting programs, engaging speakers, and networking opportunities, and for the board members who drive to the meetings after a long, hard day at work, some good, old-fashioned hot food. Building partnerships is key to improving county meetings, providing training opportunities, and adding value to your NJSBA membership. And this spring, we signed agreements with Nixle, an emergency alert system, with Microsoft, SHI, which is an authorized Microsoft representative, and these folks are offering discounted services to our members. A different type of partnership, NJSBA's Energy Buying Cooperative, resulted in $41 million in electricity savings for approximately 450 school districts this year. Since 2009, the Alliance for Competitive Energy Services, also known as ACES, has saved school board members in New Jersey over $100 million in energy costs. This program also provides savings through its natural gas buying program as well. It's one of the most significant benefits, along a list of many, of membership in NJSBA. Finally, I'm pleased to report, and I think John may have made mention of it, that we obtained a grant through Bristol Myers Squibb, and that we're going to host a Green Schools Fellow. an individual that will essentially work for us for the next 3 years. And working for us means that person will work for you, for school board members around the state, to develop sustainability and green programs, an area of critical importance to me and to our association. So, lots of exciting stuff is happening. Good organizations rest on their laurels. Great organizations assess their progress and continue to move forward, always looking for ways to improve. And that's exactly what we are doing, and that's exactly what we will continue to do. And I thank you, and it really is an honor to be your executive director.